बेटा, now what is a matrix to begin with? जब भी हम अपने नंबर्स को एक रेक्टेंगुलर फॉर्मेट देते हैं या एक स्क्वायर अरेंजमेंट देते हैं, that is called as a matrix. Many books will write matrix in this form because matrix is sometimes thought as different rows coming together and हर रो को हम एक वेक्टर मान सकते हैं. So sometimes matrix is also written in this bracket, and sometimes they will directly go ahead and use this for matrix, double lines, and then write the numbers in between. तो it's nothing to worry. अगर आप इनमें से कोई भी फॉर्मेट देखो, you see any of these three format, it implies it is a matrix. Now, see the numbers, how these numbers are written in this matrix. So if I am talking about the first row, देखो, we always go row wise. So you will notice that जब तक row number 1 है, it will be A1, the first, जो हम first number लगाते हैं in the index, it is A1 everywhere, as long as it is the first row. Now, if it is first column, I will put 1 here. This represents column. 2 represents column number 2. N represents column number N. So notice that the first, जो हम यहाँ पे first index लगा रहे हैं, 1, it is for the first row. And जो हम second index use कर रहे हैं, this 1, 2, 3, this is for the column. So the first column, second column, nth column, and so on. And so on, you can do it for any row, na? So if it is the second row, A21, A22, and so on till A2n, right? Each of this element, जो भी matrix के अंदर element आ रहा है, each of this element, each of this number, actually, it's called an element of the matrix. हर मैट्रिक्स से रिलेटेड उसका एक ऑर्डर होता है. वी हैव ऑर्डर ऑफ द मैट्रिक्स. एंड व्हाट इज ऑर्डर ऑफ द मैट्रिक्स बेटा? ऑर्डर ऑफ द मैट्रिक्स इज बेसिकली द नंबर ऑफ रोज दैट रिप्रेजेंट्स m क्रॉस द नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स दैट इज रिप्रेजेंटेड विद n. सो m represents the number of rows and n represents the number of columns. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है that m needs to be equal to n. No, m और n unequal भी हो सकते हैं. So I can go ahead and I can have a 2 cross 3 matrix, which means I will have 2 rows and 3 columns. I can have a 3 cross 2 matrix, which means 3 rows and 2 columns. And I can have a 2 cross 2 matrix also, which means 2 rows and 2 columns. तो कुछ भी order of the matrix हो सकता है. There are different kind of matrix, and this is very important from the point of view of any MCQ exam. We must know what are the different kind of matrices that exist. Beta, first matrix dekho. The first matrix is called a row matrix. A row matrix is any matrix which has only one row but many columns in it. Agar row ek hi hai, it means that I have A11, A12, A13, A14, A15, ऐसे मेरे पास एक मैट्रिक्स है. देखो, there are so many columns ना. Column number 1, column number 2, column number 3, column number 4, column number 5. So there are 5 columns. But there is only one row ना. Row तो एक ही है ना. There is just this one row. So if you have just one row, but you have multiple columns, then that becomes a row matrix. उसको हम row matrix बोल देते हैं. Similarly, let's think about a column matrix. It is the reverse. तो column matrix क्या हो गया बच्चे? There is only one column. एक ही column है, but there can be multiple rows in it. So I can have A11, A21, A31, A41, A51. अब इसमें I can clearly see that there are 5 rows in it. But I can also see ना that there is only one column. Column तो सिर्फ एक ही है. But there are multiple rows in it. So we can go ahead and say that this is a column matrix. The next I have, bache, that is called as a rectangular matrix. What is a rectangular matrix? Any matrix which has rows and columns, but the number, the rows ko we are representing with m, column I am representing with n. I don't want row to be equal to column. अगर मेरे number of rows और column अलग हैं, if the number of rows and columns that I have, they are different, then I can say that it is a rectangular matrix. ठीक है? Come to the next one, beta. This is called as horizontal matrix. Again, आप shape बनाकर ही समझ जाओगे what is a horizontal matrix. So I am saying that in this, देखो horizontal matrix में it should look like this, है ना? So you can clearly see that means there will be only less rows, but there will be more columns in it. Only then it represents horizontal. और अगर मैं vertical बोल दूं, मतलब ऐसा कुछ दिखता है, मतलब बहुत सारी rows रही होंगी, but column would be less. So a horizontal matrix is any matrix which has number of rows less than number of columns. Rows कम हैं, columns ज़्यादा हैं, then I can say it is a horizontal matrix. There are less rows and more columns in it. But when I talk about a vertical matrix, then as I can see that there are so many rows in it, but there are only 2 columns in it. So वो हो गई बच्चे vertical matrix. Then we have something which is known as a null matrix. As the word suggests, null का मतलब हो गया zero. So a null matrix is any matrix in which all elements of my matrix are zero. एक भी positive या negative element नहीं होता है. Every element of the matrix is zero. Then I can say that it is a null matrix. उसको हम null matrix बोल सकते हैं. Okay, beta. Next is my square matrix. So when I talk about a matrix, देखो ध्यान से, this is my matrix. So I have told you that the number of rows are m, the number of columns are n. If m and n are equal to each other, अगर हम m और n को बराबर रख देते हैं, it means that there are exactly suppose 2 rows and 2 columns. Then it represents a square matrix, right? Okay. The next is called as a diagonal matrix. So a diagonal matrix is any matrix in which we can go ahead and say that the leading diagonal elements are non-zero. तो हम क्या कह रहे हैं कि except these leading diagonal elements, इसके अलावा ये leading diagonal element है, इसके अलावा everything is zero. यहाँ पे भी zero, 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 zero. Everything else is zero. अच्छा, इसको represent करने का ना there is another way. So if I am writing my matrix beta, देखो ध्यान से, this is A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. कैसे करके मैंने इसको लिख दिया है? हाँ, I am saying कि मुझे चाहिए ये नॉन जीरो हो and everything else should be zero. ये zero, ये zero, ये zero, 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 zero. Now note that here whichever elements I want zero, यहाँ पे row का index और column का index is different. You can see now that this is 2, this is 1, this is 3, this is 1, this is 3, this is 2. But you can clearly see here the index is the same 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. It means I want that whenever I and j are not equal to each other, जब भी ये I और ये j बराबर ना हो, when they are not equal to each other, then I want those elements to be zero. And whenever these I and j's are equal to each other, then I want it to be non-zero. So if I have this property being satisfied, अगर मेरी ये property satisfy हो जाती, if this property is being satisfied, then we can go ahead and we can say कि it is a diagonal matrix. तो यही हमने यहाँ लिखा है, those except in the leading diagonal, every element is zero, then we can go ahead and say that it is a diagonal matrix. Sometimes diagonal matrix को हम कैसे लिख देते हैं? We go ahead and write it like this also, that A is a diagonal matrix and it has these elements A11, A22 till ANN. माने ये जो भी मेरे diagonals हैं, whatever are my diagonals, सिर्फ उनकी values कुछ कुछ डालनी है, other than that everything is zero. I only need to go ahead and put values of my diagonals. I need to just fill in this principal diagonal and everything else is 0. ठीक है बेटा, come to the next one. The next is called as a scalar matrix. But before I can explain you a scalar matrix, I need to explain to you what is a identity matrix. So identity matrix क्या हो जाता है? Where the diagonal, it's a kind of diagonal matrix, but these diagonal elements are 1. Exactly 1 हो जाती है इनकी value. I will not accept any other value, then it will become an identity matrix. So if it is 4, suppose, then it is a diagonal matrix. But if all the diagonals are exactly 1, then it becomes an identity matrix. So agar in exam, suppose, beta, they give you a statement that all identity matrix are diagonal matrix. So is this statement true? Yes. अगर आइडेंटिटी है तो डायगोनल तो है ही ना, बिकॉज द डायगोनल एलिमेंट्स आर नॉन जीरो एंड अदर एलिमेंट्स आर जीरो, तो ठीक है, डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स इज देयर. बट सपोज दे गिव यू अ स्टेटमेंट दैट ऑल डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स आर आइडेंटिटी मैट्रिक्स, तो ये फॉल्स हो गया. जस्ट बिकॉज इट इज अ डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स, तो डायगोनल का मतलब तो इट कैन टेक एनी वैल्यू ना. आई कुड हैव हैड 4 आल्सो हियर, बट इट इज नॉट एन आइडेंटिटी मैट्रिक्स, राइट? सो जस्ट बिकॉज इट इज अ डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स, इसका मतलब ये नहीं हो गया कि वो आइडेंटिटी भी हो गया. ओके, नाउ once we know what is an identity matrix, I can go ahead and I can multiply. तो इसको ना हम we write it like this: I3. See, this has to be a square matrix. Identity matrix का माने मतलब ये हो गया that it is a square matrix. And when I say I3, it means that the number of rows and columns are 3 in it. If I would have written I4, it would have meant that number of rows and columns are 4 in it. So I could have got something like this. ऐसा कुछ मिल जाता मुझे. Just fill in these. हाँ, ऐसा. This would have been I4. So this represents that it is an identity matrix, but it's can sorry, its number of rows and columns are 3. Now, when I talk about a scalar matrix, जब हम scalar matrix की बात करते हैं, then scalar means that your identity matrix is scaled by some number. तो अगर मैंने suppose I tell you that बेटा k is equal to 4, it means that I am scaling जो भी मेरा identity matrix था 1 1 1 0 0 0 0 0 0, इसको मैंने 4 से multiply कर दिया throughout. So each element will get multiplied with 4. So I have just scaled that matrix. So when I say that I am talking about a scalar matrix, ध्यान से देखो बच्चे, what is a scalar matrix? Every non-diagonal element is 0. Just like identity matrix, सारे non-diagonal elements 0 हैं. And diagonal elements are equal. Just like identity matrix, उसमें सब 1 थे, इसमें सब equal हैं. It is a scalar matrix, but Aij should be equal to k. तो ये जरूरी नहीं है. This is not necessary that you want Aij to be 1. 1 होना जरूरी नहीं है. If Aij would have been 1 for all I equal to j, तब तो वो identity matrix हो जाता. It would have been an identity matrix. But when I say that my Aij is some k, then this means that this represents a it represents a scalar matrix. It is one form of the identity matrix when it is being scaled. उसको हमने scale कर दिया. Okay, come to the next one. The next one beta is your unit or identity matrix. ये मैं आपको already बता चुकी हूँ. The identity matrix also is sometimes called as the unit matrix. Next one is upper triangular matrix. तो upper triangular matrix को हम कैसे represent करते हैं? Let me show you that first. Beta, just see here. I have A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. Triangular मतलब ऊपर मुझे ट्रायंगल फॉर्म करना है, इट मीन्स द अपर ट्रायंगल शुड बी फिल्ड विद नंबर्स, उसको हमने किसी नंबर से भरना है। एंड द लोअर पार्ट, देखो ध्यान से सी, इट सेज aij is 0 when I is greater than j. I was representing the row index, j was representing the column index. अब देखो 2 is greater than 1, तो when I is greater than j, तो ये क्या बोलता है, what will be your value? It will be 0. So when 2 is greater than 1, I will replace this value with 0. When 3 is greater than 1, na, so I will replace it with 0. 3 is greater than 2, na, so this will be replaced with 0. So any matrix which is of this format, कि अपर में आपका एक ट्रायंगल क्रिएट हो रहा है with some numbers, यहाँ पे कुछ numbers आ रहे हैं, and in the lower side you have all zeros. और इसको हमने कैसे रिप्रेजेंट किया? We said that aij is coming out as 0, और ये aij 0 कब हो रहा है? When is this becoming 0? When your I is greater than j. ये हमने अभी रिप्रेजेंट भी कर दिया, that whenever I see an I greater than j, then those elements become 0. That is called as an upper triangular matrix. Bachche, look at the next one. The next one is saying lower triangular matrix, just the reverse of this. You can just make it yourself. So in the lower triangular matrix, you will see that this part becomes 0 and this part will be non-zero. So whatever name is given ना, जैसे अगर उन्होंने बोल दिया लोअर ट्रायंगुलर मैट्रिक्स, मतलब जो लोअर ट्रायंगल क्रिएट कर रहे हैं हम, whatever lower triangle I am creating, that should have non-zero values. If it is upper triangular matrix, तो जो हम upper triangle में वो create कर रहे हैं triangle, that should have non-zero values, right? Then beta we have something which is known as a sub matrix. अगर हम किसी मैट्रिक्स से कुछ रोज और कॉलम्स को डिलीट कर दें, इफ आई डिलीट सम रोज एंड कॉलम्स एंड आई get a smaller matrix out of it, that is called as a submatrix. Take an example. So I am saying that I have this matrix 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Now I am telling you I delete the second row and the second column. तो जो मेरे को ये स्मॉलर मैट्रिक्स मिलेगा ना 1 3 7 9, दिस इज अ सब मैट्रिक्स ऑफ दिस बिगर मैट्रिक्स. जो हमने वो बिगर मैट्रिक्स बनाया था उसका ये एक सब मैट्रिक्स हो गया. इट्स अ स्मॉलर सब मैट्रिक्स क्रिएटेड आउट ऑफ द बिगर मैट्रिक्स. ऑल दीज डेफिनेशंस कैन बी आस्क्ड एज पार्ट ऑफ एमसीक्यू इन योर एग्जाम, तो इसको पढ़ना बहुत ही जरूरी है. ओके, देन यू हैव इक्वल मैट्रिक्स. तो इक्वल मैट्रिक्स पे कैसे क्वेश्चन आता है, लेट मी जस्ट शो यू. टू मैट्रिक्स आर कॉल्ड इक्वल मैट्रिक्स व्हेन ईच ऑफ देयर एलिमेंट मैप्स. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल बच्चे, आई टेल यू दैट दिस इज x प्लस वाई, x माइनस वाई, 4 7 4 7 10 एंड 3. ऐसा कुछ आई हैव क्रिएटेड. हाँ, इक्वल मैट्रिक्स वुड मीन दैट यू विल मैप एलिमेंट टू एलिमेंट. माने आपने इसको इससे मैच किया, 4 is anyways matching to 4, 7 is matching to 7, and this is matched to this. So we can say that okay, x plus y na, that will be 10, and we can say that x minus y na, that will be 3. ठीक है, two equation, two variables, solve them simultaneously. So if I add these two equations together, I will get 2x is equal to 13. So x will be 6.5. So y हो जाएगा 3.5. So I have been able to get the values of x and y. So this is called as equal matrix. So in equal matrix, we go ahead and we map. हम check करते हैं element to element. Okay. Now we have something which is known as the principal diagonal of a matrix. Principal diagonal of the matrix हो जाता है बच्चे ये. This is called as the principal diagonal. So any matrix has two diagonals. One is called as the principal diagonal. This is the main diagonal. The other is called as the off diagonal. Principal diagonal has the property that your aij is such that I is equal to j. Okay, so if I just go ahead and I make my matrix A11, A12, A1, A21, A22, you see here na, that I and J are equal to each other. So this is forming a principal diagonal. Or off diagonal क्या हो गया? Where they are not equal, like this. This is an off diagonal. Diagonal तो ये भी है, but this is an off diagonal because I and J are not equal to each other. Okay, beta.